wasn't supposed to be working that night. I had just gotten home, kicked my shoes off, and was halfway through reheating a leftover pasta when my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Normally I ignore those, but something about the timing, something about the way the phone vibrated in my hand, made me answer.
Detective Destrawn.
The voice was shaky, older, nervous.
This is Riverside Theme Park. We need your help.
I frowned. Theme parks don't call detectives at midnight unless something is very, very wrong. What happened? I asked. A long pause. Too long.
Our night security guard hasn't checked in. He missed 2 scheduled radio calls. Cameras show he never left the park. We've searched the perimeter, the parking lot. Nothing.
So you want me to find him?
Yes, please, before we involve the police.
That told me everything. They were scared of what the police might find. I'll be there in 20. Riverside Theme Park during the day is loud, colorful, and full of kids running around with sticky fingers and overpriced slushies. At night, it was a corpse. The rides were frozen silhouettes against the sky. The lights were off except for a few flickering bulbs near the entrance. The air felt stale, like the park was holding its breath. A manager met me at the gate, a short, balding man with sweat stains under his collar. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "You're the detective?" he asked, voice trembling. "Yeah. Where was the last place you saw him?" He didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his coat and pulled out a thick, sealed envelope. "Everything you need is in here," he said, shoving it into my hand. "Don't open it until you're inside the security office." I raised an eyebrow. "Why?" His eyes darted toward the dark park behind me. "Because the park listens." Before I could ask anything else, he turned and practically sprinted back to his car. The gate clanged shut behind me, locked. The security office was small, cramped, and smelled faintly of burnt plastic. A wall of monitors flickered with grainy camera feeds, and on the desk, a half-eaten sandwich, a flashlight, a walkie-talkie, and a security badge, the missing guard's badge. He didn't take it with him. He didn't clock out. He didn't leave. I sat down, took a breath, and opened the envelope. Inside were 4 sheets of paper. No explanation, no signature, just 4 rules written in shaky handwriting. Rule number 1. Complete your rounds before 12:45 a.m. Do not be outside after that time. Rule number 2. Keep camera 4 on Frostbite the Husky for exactly 10 minutes at 1 a.m. Do not look away early. Rule number 3. Ensure the treasure chest in the prize area stays locked. If it opens more than halfway, close it immediately. Rule number 4. Before 6 a.m., manually shut down all animatronics. Missing even one triggers a full lockdown. Lockdown? Not disciplinary action, not safety protocol. Lockdown. I checked the clock. 12:02 a.m. I had 43 minutes to do my round. The park was silent except for a distant hum of machinery settling in the dark. My flashlight beam cut through the emptiness as I walked past the rides. The food stands, the empty game booths. Everything felt watched. Not by people, by the park itself. When I reached the prize area, I froze. The treasure chest, a big wooden prop with cartoonish gold trim, was shaking. Just slightly, like something inside was breathing. I stepped closer. The latch was unhooked. I hadn't touched it. I haven't even been here yet. Slowly, the lid creaked open another inch, and from inside, I heard a voice. A soft, childlike whisper.
"Frostbite, let me out."
My entire body went cold. I slammed the chest shut and locked it. The whisper stopped instantly. No movement, no sound, just silence, like it had never happened. I passed the main stage next. 3 massive animatronics stood frozen under the dim lights. Brittany the Walrus, chef hat, apron, metal tusk. Frostbite the Husky, mascot suit, plastic smile, glitchy lead eyes. Sizzle the Iguana, tall, thin, drink dispenser built into its chest. They were all powered down, or so I thought. As I turned to leave, Frostbite's head twitched. Just a tiny movement, but enough to make my heart stop. His voice box crackled.
"Hey, kids, Frostbite sees you."
I didn't breathe. I didn't move. Then his head snapped back into place, stiff and lifeless. Sleep mode. I forced myself to keep walking. I made it back at 12:44 a.m. 1 minute to spare. I shut the door, locked it, and collapsed into the chair. The monitors flickered. Camera 4, Frostbite stage, glitched violently for a moment, then stabilized. Frostbite was gone. He wasn't on stage. He wasn't in the hallway. He wasn't anywhere. The clock hit 1 a.m., and the walkie-talkie on the desk crackled to life. A voice whispered through the static. Not the manager, not the missing guard. A voice I recognize.
Take the strong. Frostbite wants to play.
I froze. My name. Not security guard, not hey you. My name. There was no way the animatronics should know that. The manager never said it out loud. The envelope didn't have it written anywhere. So how? I grabbed the walkie-talkie, but before I could respond, the voice cut out. Just dead air. I stared at the camera 4. Frostbite was still missing. The stage was empty. The spotlight flickered like it was searching for him. I swallowed hard and forced myself to breathe. Panic gets people killed. I needed to think. How does a machine know my name? I scanned the monitors again, looking for anything. Movement, shadows, a hint of where Frostbite went. Nothing. But something else caught my eye. Camera 7. The staff hallway. A door was open. The maintenance office. The missing guard's last known location. The hallway felt colder than the rest of the park. My footsteps echoed too loudly, like the walls were listening. The maintenance office door was cracked open, a faint light flickering inside. I pushed it open slowly. The room was a mess. Papers scattered, tools on the floor, a chair knocked over, signs of a struggle. But what made my stomach drop was the computer screen. It was still on. A video file was open. Security log 1:12am.mp4. I clicked play. The missing guard appeared on the screen, breathing hard, sweating dripping down his face.
Okay. If anyone finds this,
He flinched at something off camera.
I think Frostbite knows my name. I don't know how. I swear I never...
The video glitched violently. A distorted voice cut through the static.
Hey, buddy. Frostbite's disease. You.
The camera fell. The video ended. My heart hammered in my chest. So it wasn't just me. Frostbite had spoken the guard's name too. But how? I scanned the room again, this time slower. Something metallic glinted under the desk. I crouched down. A key card. Not the guard's. This one was labeled. Employee access, restricted zone B. Zone B? There was no zone B on the park map. I pocketed the card. That's when I heard it. A soft, rhythmic tap. Coming from the hallway behind me. I turned slowly. Nothing. Just darkness. Then the tapping came again. Faster this time. Like metal feet trying to mimic footsteps. My blood ran cold. Frostbite. He was close. Too close. I moved fast but quiet, keeping my flashlight low. Every shadow looked like it was breathing. When I reached the security office, I slammed the door shut and locked it. The monitors flickered violently. Camera 4, Frostbite stage, was empty. Camera 7, the hallway, showed nothing. Camera 12, the gift shop, empty. Camera 3, the food court, empty. Then camera 9, glitched. Static, black, then a close-up of Frostbite's face, right up against the camera. His LED lights flickered between blue and white, glitching like a corrupted file. His jaw twitched, and through the speakers, his voice box crackled.
Strong. You're not the only one I want. Want.
The screen cut to black. I leaned back in the chair, heart pounding. Not the one he wants. Then who? I looked at the envelope again, at the rules, at the missing guard's badge, at the video, and it hit me. Frostbite didn't know my name. He knew the guard's name, and the guard had been calling for help, calling for someone, calling for me. Frostbite wasn't talking to me. He was repeating what he heard, like a parrot, like a broken toy, like something that has been listening to the guard's final moments. And if Frostbite was repeating the guard's last words, then the guard didn't just disappear. He died calling my name. The walkie-talkie crackled again. This time, the voice was different. Not Frostbite, not the manager. A whisper. Weak, strained, human.
Distraught. Don't let it find you.
The signal cut out. The room went silent, and behind me, somewhere deep in the park, I heard heavy metal footsteps. Slow, deliberate, getting closer. The footsteps echoed through the park, heavy, metallic, and too rhythmic to be human. Brittany was slow. Sizzle hummed when he moved. This wasn't them. This was Frostbite. And he wasn't wandering anymore. He was searching. I pressed my back against the wall of the security office, listening. The footsteps stopped, then started again, faster this time. Like he was trying to mimic running, like he was excited. I checked the monitors. Camera 4, static. Camera 7, empty. Camera 12, empty. Then, camera 9, flickered. A blur of white fur, a plastic smile, a twitching jaw. Frostbite sprinted past the gift shop, head jerking side to side like he was scanning for movement. He wasn't patrolling, he was looking for his crowd, and I was the only one left. I pulled out the keycard I found in the maintenance office. Zone B wasn't on the map, wasn't on the cameras, wasn't mentioned in the rules, which meant one thing: the park didn't want anyone to know it existed. I checked the monitors again. Frostbite was gone. The hallway was clear. Now or never. I slipped out of the office and moved fast, keeping low, flashlight off. The air felt heavier now, like the park was aware of me, like it was listening. I retraced the missing guard's last known path, past the food court, past the staff hallway, past the maintenance shed. Nothing. Then I noticed something strange. A wall panel near the back of the park had scratches around the edges, fresh scratches, like someone had tried to pry it open. I pressed my hand against it. It clicked. A hidden door slid open, revealing a narrow stairwell leading underground. Zone B. I descended slowly, the air growing colder with each step. At the bottom was a metal door with a card reader. I swiped the key card. The lock clicked. The door opened. The room was dimly lit by flickering fluorescent lights. Rows of shelves lined the walls, filled with spare animatronic parts. Arms, legs, heads, wires, faceplates. But what caught my eyes was the table in the center. A disassembled animatronic torso. White fur, blue LED eyes, a cracked plastic smile. Frostbite's sister, Daisy. The same voice I heard from the treasure chest. The same voice whispering for Frostbite to let her out. But she wasn't complete. Her limbs were missing. Her jaw was detached. Her chest cavity was open. On the table beside her was a clipboard. The missing guard's handwriting. I picked it up. The first page was frantic, almost unreadable. Frostbite keeps leaving the stage. He's looking for someone. He keeps saying crowd, but there's no crowd at night. Next page. He followed me into the hallway. He doesn't recognize faces. He only recognizes movement. If you move, he thinks you're the crowd. Next page. He said my name. He shouldn't know my name. He's repeating things. Things he hears. Things he shouldn't hear. Final page. If anyone finds this, don't let Frostbite see or move. Don't let him hear you breathe. And whatever you do, don't let him find Zone B. My stomach dropped because behind me, far from the stairwell, I heard it. A soft, glitchy voice.
Hey, kids. Frostbite found a crowd.
I turned slowly. Frostbite stood at the bottom of the stairs, head tilted, LED eyes flickering, jaw twitching. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know what I was doing. He only knew one thing. I moved. Frostbite lunged. Metal claws scraped the floor as he sprinted toward me. I dove behind a shelf, heart pounding so loud I was sure he could hear it. He stopped. Head snapped left, then right, then left again. Searching, scanning, listening.
Crowd. Where are you?
I held my breath. If I moved, I was dead. If I stayed still, I was trapped. Then I saw it. A second door, half hidden behind a crate. Another exit. Zone B wasn't just a storage. It was a tunnel system. A way deeper into the park. A way the guard tried to escape. A way I might survive. But to reach it, I'd had to move. And Frostbite was inches away. Frostbite's footsteps echoed through Zone B, heavy, metallic, way too fast for something that size. I pressed myself deeper behind the crates, barely daring to breathe. His LED eyes flickered through the gaps in the shelves, scanning the room like a predator, like something searching for movement.
Where did you go?
His voice box glitched, stretching the words, warping them like a corrupted audio file. I stayed perfectly still. Frostbite didn't know many faces. He doesn't know names. He only knew movement. If I twitched, even a little, he'd see me as his crowd. He paced the room, head jerking left, then right, claws tapping the floor in a broken rhythm. He stopped near the crates, so close I could see the scratches on his plastic smile. Then, after a long, tense movement, he turned and walked away. His footsteps faded down the hallway, getting softer, then disappearing completely. I waited 30 seconds, then slipped out from behind the crates. That's when I saw it, a small metal hatch, behind a stack of old animatronic parts, barely noticeable, barely big enough for a person. The missing guard must have found it too. I crouched down, pulled it open, and crawled inside. The hatch clicked shut behind me. The tunnel was very narrow, metal walls, dust thick enough to choke on, wires running along the ceiling like veins. My flashlight flickered, barely illuminating the cramped spaces. This wasn't part of the park's official layout. This was older, hidden, forgotten. After a short crawl, maybe 30 seconds, the tunnel opened into a small room. A room that wasn't on any map, wasn't on any camera. This wasn't mentioned in any rule. A room no one was supposed to find. The air was cold, too cold. And the walls were covered in papers, hundreds of them, pinned, taped, stapled, overlapping like scales. Maintenance logs, incident reports, blueprints, employee complaints, internal memos, all hidden, all damning. I stepped closer and read the first page. Animatronic malfunction, Frostbite. Issue, mimicry, beyond program range. Notes, repeats phrases heard in restricted areas. And recommendations, disable voice module immediately. It wasn't disabled. Next was Brenny the Walrus, safety hazard. His issue was heat sensors misreading elevated heart rates as food readiness. The incidents were employee injury, and what was recommended was shut down until repaired. He wasn't shut down. Next was Sizzle the Iguana, critical failure. His issue was coolant A7 mislabeled as hydration fluid. Incident, severe employee harm. Recommendations were removed from public use. He wasn't removed. I kept reading. Each page was getting worse than the last. Multiple missing staff. Guests reported strange voices at night. Unauthorized animatronic movement after hours. Management instructs staff to ignore malfunctions. Do not contact authorities. Destroy all evidence. Zone B must remain sealed. My stomach twisted. This wasn't negligence. This was a cover-up. The park should have been shut down weeks ago. Maybe months. Maybe years. Then I saw it. The far wall. Covered in Polaroids. Dozens of them. All of the same thing. The missing guard. Different nights. Different angles. Different parts of the park. Some photos were taken from high-ups. Some from behind him. Some from inches away. And in every single photo, Frostbite was in the background, watching him, following him, learning him. The last photo made my blood run cold. The guard was sitting in the security office, and behind him, Frostbite stood in the doorway, smiling. The timestamp? 1:12 a.m. The exact time the guard's video log ended. A soft metallic creak echoed from the crawl space. Not pounding, not running, just a slow, curious creak. Like something brushing against the hatch, like something sniffing. I froze. Then the sound faded. Frostbite hadn't found the tunnel. Not yet. But he was close. Too close. I turned back to the room, and that's when I noticed it. A second door. Rusty, old, padlocked. A sign above it read, "Absolutely do not enter," which meant I needed to enter. Because whatever was behind that door, the park didn't hide it. They feared it. I grabbed the metal pipe from the floor, raised it, and smashed the lock. The door creaked open. Cold air rushed out, and inside was something I never expected. Something that changed everything. The cold air from the forbidden room hit me like a wall. Sterile, chemical, wrong. My flashlight beam shook as I stepped inside. The metal table in the center held the missing guard's body. But he wasn't just dead. He was modified. Metal plating bolted into his ribs. Wires threaded under his skin. A mechanical joint fused into his elbow. A servo embedded into his spine. Not clean, not professional, not surgical. Forced, crude, desperate. A failed attempt to turn him into something else. Something not human. But the guard wasn't the only thing in the room. In the far corner, half hidden behind a curtain, was a second table. Smaller, lower, child size. My stomach twisted. I pulled the curtain aside, and there he was. The owner's son, or what was left of him. His body was small, maybe 10, maybe 11, but twisted into something that should never existed. Metal plates fused to bone, wires threaded through muscles. A mechanical jaw bolted into his skull. His chest cavity half open, ears tangled with organs like someone tried to replace his heart with a motor. He wasn't a cyborg. He wasn't an animatronic. He was a child who tried to become a machine, and succeeded. A tag was taped to his wrist. Model A, primary interface. My stomach dropped. Primary interface. He wasn't just a victim. He was the source, the controller. The reason the animatronics moved at night. The reason Frostbite captured the guard. The reason the treasure chest whispered. The reason the park felt alive. This boy, the owner's son, had been obsessed with machines. Obsessed with staying forever. Obsessed with becoming part of the park. And he got what he wanted, just not the way he wanted it. His body died, but his influence, his consciousness, his playtime, still here, still active, still controlling the animatronics like puppets. Behind the table was a wall covered in crayon drawings. Childlike, innocent, horrifying. Frostbite holding hands with a stick figure boy. Brittany serving food to smiling children. Sizzle giving drinks to crowds. And one drawing circled in red marker. A stick figure labeled me. Holding hands with a stick figure labeled friend. Underneath, in shaky handwriting, I want someone to stay with me forever. My blood ran cold. The guard wasn't captured because of malfunction. He was captured because the boy wanted a friend, a playmate, a replacement, someone to join him in his sick, twisted version of playtime, someone to stay forever. And when the guard resisted, the boy tried to turn him into a machine, just like he did to himself, just like he wanted to do to Frostbite's sister, just like he... A soft, glitchy whisper cut through the room. Not Frostbite, not the guard, not half the built creatures from the chest. A child's voice, broken, static-filled, echoing from the walls like a room itself was speaking.
Do you strike? Will you play with me?
My flashlight flickered. The boy's body didn't move, but the wires in his chest twitched. The servos in his spine clicked. The metal jaw creaked open just a little. And from the crawl space behind me, I heard footsteps. Heavy, metallic, obedient. Frostbite. Coming because the boy told him to. Coming because the boy wanted a new friend. Coming because I moved. The boy's voice echoed through the room, glitchy and broken. Nope, absolutely not. I pulled my gun. Yeah, screw this. I fired. The bullet hit the mechanical joint fused into the boy's ribs. Sparks flew, wires snapped, the entire table jolted violently. The lights flickered, the boy's voice cut out mid-glitch, and from the crawl space behind me, Frostbite roared. Not a human roar, not an animal roar, a mechanical shriek, like metal screaming. He bursted into the room, lunging. I didn't think. I ran. I sprinted past him, shoulder checking his metal arm just enough to throw him off balance. His claws slashed in the air inches from my back. Nope, not today. I bolted through the hallway, heart pounding, lungs burning. I didn't even realize where I was running until I saw it. The prize area, the treasure chest, and standing right in front of it, Daisy, Frostbite's sister, half built, half crawling, eyes glowing blue from the inside the chest's darkness. She reached for me, long, joint-snapping arms stretching outward. I dove sideways. Her fingers scraped my jacket, metal claws tearing fabric, missing skin by a miracle. She lunged again, dragging herself across the floor with unnatural speed. But I rolled behind the booth and sprinted the other direction. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see how fast she could crawl. I burst out of the prize area, into the main walkway, and skidded to a stop. Because standing right in front of me, blocking the entire path, was Brenny the Walrus. Massive, towering, steam hissing from the vents in his back, metal tusks gleaming in the dim light. I froze. This was it. This is where I die. Brenny's head turned toward me. Slow, heavy, deliberate. He inhaled, a deep, mechanical sniff. I braced myself. But he didn't attack. He didn't move. He didn't raise a hand. Instead, he lifted one massive arm and pointed. Not at me, past me, toward an emergency exit door, half hidden behind a concession stand. A door I never noticed. A door that wasn't on the map. I stared at him. Are you helping me? Brenny didn't answer. He couldn't, but he repeated the gesture. Slower this time, more urgent. Behind me, I heard Frostbite's claws scraping the floor, Daisy crawling, the boy's glitchy whisper echoing through the vents. Brenny pointed one last time, then stepped aside, just enough for me to pass. I didn't question it. I ran. I sprinted past Brenny, through the hidden exit, slamming the door behind me. And as I stumbled into the cold night air, gasping for breath, I realized something. Brenny wasn't influenced by the boy. He wasn't controlled. He wasn't part of the playtime. He was just a machine. A broken, malfunctioning, dangerous machine. But a machine that recognized something that others didn't. I wasn't supposed to be here. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't want another human to end up like the boy. Or like the guard. Or like the others. I clutched the files in my hand. The evidence, the photos, the logs, the truth. Enough to shut the park down forever. Enough to expose everything. Enough to end this nightmare. But as I limped away, sirens in the distance, dawn creeping over the horizons, I heard one last thing. A faint, glitchy whisper from inside the park. The boy's voice. And behind the door, something heavy moved. Something big. Something waking up. The boy's voice didn't glitch this time. It screamed.
Get him, get him, get him.
The lights exploded into static, the walls vibrated, the wires in the boy's chest withered like living things, and every animatronic in the park woke up. I heard Frostbite's shriek burst, a metallic howl that rattled the vents, then Sizzle's humming roar, then Brenny's heavy footsteps. Not slow anymore, like something had overwritten their safety limits. The boy screamed again, voice cracking like broken speakers.
Bring him the rapper. He's more.
Nope, absolutely not. I ran. I sprinted out of the forbidden room, files clutching into my hand, heart slamming against my ribs. Behind me, Frostbite's claws scraped the floor as he bursted into the hallway. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The entire park was shaking. I tore through the prize area. Daisy lunged from the treasure chest, metal fingers inches from my face. I ducked. She slammed into the booth. I bolted over a counter, sprinted past arcade machines, burst into the main walkway. Sizzle was there, rounding the corner, eyes glowing orange, coolant tubes rattling like snakes. Nope. I slid under a railing, rolled, kept running. Frostbite crashed through a wall behind me, debris falling. Brenny's footsteps thundered from the opposite direction. The boy's voice echoed through every speaker in the park.
Don't let him out. Don't let him out. Don't let him out.
The animatronics converged. I was dead. I was done. I was. The entrance gate came into view. The only exit. The only hope. I sprinted with everything I had left. Lungs burning, legs screaming. Frostbite lunged. Sizzle reached. Daisy crawled at impossible speed. Brenny charged. The boy shrieked.
Get him. No.
I dove. I slid under the gate just as Frostbite's claws slammed into the metal bars behind me. I grabbed the chain. I yanked it down. Clang. The gates locked. Frostbite slammed it so hard the entire frame shook. Sizzle rammed into it next. Sparks flying. Daisy clawed at the gaps, her fingers scraping inches from my face. Brenny slammed his full weight into the gate, bending the steel. The boy screamed through the speaker with everything he had.
No. Come back.
The animatronics pounded the gate in unison. Metal, flesh, machine, rage. The entire entrance shook like it was about to explode. I stumbled backward, gasping, shaking, covered in dust and sweat. The files were still in my hand. Enough evidence to shut the park down forever. Enough to expose everything. Enough to end this nightmare. I ran to my car, threw the files into the passenger seat, and turned the key. The engine roared to life. As I sped away, I looked in the rearview mirror. The gate was bending outward, and Frostbite's LED eyes were glowing through the cracks. Still watching, still waiting, still wanting his crowd.